Hey there, it's Maria back with another video. It's 11:49 a.m. It is December 21st. It's Thursday and it is the first day of winter. Happy winter season, everyone. So I have decided to experiment with different sounds, I listen to Pandora like almost every day. And of course YouTube, because YouTube has like this huge selection of meditational music. Um, and ever since, I've come to understand, I guess, my background a little bit more, I decided this morning, I'm surprised I didn't think about it in the first place, but I kept thinking, let me try some of this, Ethiopian music. I haven't heard any yet. When I was doing the search, a bunch of different Ethiopian type meditational music popped up. And then there was this one that had this Egyptian, I think it's called, I can't really read, ancient Kemetic meditation music. So it kind of drew my attention, so I'm starting off with that. It's like flute music. It's very tranquil. Some people who have a hard time relaxing, and they might want to try different sounds, meditational sounds. There's all kinds of meditational music. Doesn't have to be Ethiopian, doesn't have to be Egyptian, doesn't have to be Indian. You can just type in meditational music and you'll find just a variety of different sounds that you can choose from. What I like about meditational music is it takes your mind off of whatever is around you, and it gives you clarity. It lets you think a little bit better. Um, Another thing that helps, I know that in the last video that I did, or like last two videos, I don't know which was, but anyway, I did post a link to an incense company, and I do burn incense. I've been burning incense since I was a teenager. That's something else that helps, relax you. Some of you guys might be purchasing incense for certain reasons, and you might be burning incense when you're doing like maybe, I don't know, manifesting work or whatever, and you might decide, hey, I like that smell. You can burn incense just to relax. It sets a nice mood. That and music together, it just makes a really wonderful environment. Really, it does. So anyway, so I've been doing a lot of thinking about my situation and coming to understand who I am. And just, it's not so much even coming to understand who I am. It's more like putting the puzzle together, and it creates a lot of healing for me. It's healing me because it's an explanation and it makes sense. Even though it seems far fetched, it does. Like when, especially when I start talking about like my father who raised me, being Tut and all this other crazy stuff. It sounds so weird, and I would not want to just make something like that up. Believe me, I would not. But I believe it, and so I'm coming to think about all the people that I used to know and the treatment that I got from them, and wondering like, what the hell? I mean, I know that if the tables were turned, because I am who I am, and since I was a little kid, I've been reading about things like mind control and stuff like that, and I don't know. I'm not somebody who can be mind controlled, so it's really hard for me to kind of like just release the animosity that I feel towards them. I don't hate these people, but to me, it's like, well, you kind of showed that in your heart. You know what I mean? So it's like, wow, it's pretty deep. Um, I and like one of my videos, I was talking about how I think it would be very healing just to get this issue out in the open. And it's not so much me. I was picking up on what other people are saying. People want this whole Prince Almalehu issue out in the open. And like I said, if this is what you guys want to do, that's fine. Like I said, I just don't want people showing up to my door, and I don't want people bothering me when I'm out in public with that. So if people want to get in touch with me via email, I do believe my email is in my about section on YouTube. I just, I think it would just be better because, I feel as though there was too much of a covert energy around me, and that prevents me from fully living. And it's wrong. It's wrong to do the experiment itself. To me, um, considering the fact that Joseph Mengele was behind it, it's a very obviously there's an abusive nature to it. Okay, and it's something that is very unhealthy. mentally, emotionally, in every aspect of a person's life. Okay, us being set up with a family, and I understand my father participated in it. Was not his creation. You know, I mean, he did participate in the experiment, meaning that he wanted to bring me back. Um, um, you know, from from my rest, I guess. And you know, now I'm here living on the earth, right? But you know, the fake family thing, the being set up in certain situations, the people that you know, and the fake friendships, and it's like, you know, all of that is just, you know, what are you supposed to think? It can cause a lot of people to literally lose their mind. You know, obviously I'm a very strong person, and it probably comes from living multiple lives, just dealing with experience, with dealing with people, and my understanding in this last jaunt, that because I don't really want to come back to Earth. Like after I die, I don't really want to come back. But I do think that it's important that we fill our souls. I mean, we fill ourselves with our lives, and that it's not to say that we shouldn't be giving and caring for other people, because that's a gift. That is a very highly precious spiritual gift to give other people love. Okay. But from my experience, and I'm sure everyone else can vouch for this, love is not something that you should just give away, because most people aren't deserving of it. You know, you have to use discernment. And when you use discernment, when you're giving love, it makes it even more precious. You know what I mean? It's a valuable thing. And, you know, it's important that we nurture ourselves first before anyone else. And it's not arrogance, it's common sense. Um, I was thinking about the substitute teacher that I had many years ago. I was in high school, and she was, I don't know, maybe she was like maybe in her, I'm going to say early 40s, maybe mid 40s or whatever. I don't remember her name, really don't remember her name, but I thought she was cool as hell, and I'll tell you why. She brought in an Alvin and the Chipmunks lunch pail for her lunch, right? And it had a thermos too. I mean, she was rocking the Alvin and Chipmunk lunchbox and thermos. And you know what? When I got to be an adult, I remember being inspired by that. Why? Because I admired her. Maybe she wasn't thinking about it so deeply. Okay, maybe she didn't think about it. Maybe she's like, well, I need something to carry my lunch, and I have this Alvin and Chipmunks lunch box, and it's gonna hold my lunch. And you know, maybe she just was a fan of Alvin and the Chipmunks. But as an adult woman, um, she was nurturing her inner child. You know, she was saying, you know, and really, when you think about it, I admire her because she didn't give a fuck. I'm sure there was people in the lunchroom were probably talking about, look at this woman with her Alvin and the Chipmunk lunch bell. But in reality, the only person at the end of the day who she really needs to worry about is herself. Because most of the time, people talk about you behind your back. They don't care about you. So she's doing the only thing that she knows how to do, and she's nurturing her soul. She's happy with her Alvin and the Chipmunks lunch pail at 40 years old. And plus, I know that the workplace is fucking hell. I know that it is. As a matter of fact, somebody called from a company today offering me this interview for fucking some accounting job. I don't know if it was a spoof or not, but I was like, no, I don't think so. My unemployment has run out already, and I have no intentions of ever going to another 9 to 5 job ever again. Okay, the workplace is hell. And you know it, okay? A lot of people in this community, I think there was some sort of like campaign to, you know, brainwash Maria so that I could be a part of this weird mind control program. So they were like making people wear uniforms and stuff and bringing me into job interviews that I fucking don't want. See, here's the thing. They are basically admitting we don't care if we work in a demoralizing environment. We don't care. It matters to people in the workforce. It matters. Now, some people, they really don't care if they have to wear a uniform or not, okay? But if a person says, you know what, in order for me to be balanced, I need to work, this is the sort of stuff that I need. I have the right to look for that, right? They don't give a fuck what you like. So there was a lot of people in this community who probably didn't want to have to go along with this stupid little plan that they had about wearing uniforms, but they were forced to. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? So they got brought into it, and I do apologize to anybody who had to be inconvenienced because of this stupid plot. But, you know, the workforce is a place that is very demoralizing for a lot of people. And I'm so compassionate towards people who have so many responsibilities, and they have to support their families going to hell every day. You know what I mean? And so this substitute teacher that I had, maybe she did, like I said, maybe she wasn't thinking about it that way. But I know that you have to make the best of your day somehow. And so for me, my little treats at work, this is the little things I like at work. I like colored clips, colored paper clips, give me some colored pens. If sometimes maybe your employer wants you to write with a black pen. That's fine, okay. But if I'm taking my notes or whatever, I'm going to bring my little colored pens and I'm going to try to make the best of my day. It's small. It's very small. You know what I mean? It's not nothing big, but it shakes something up. Okay, it adds a little bit more of you into your nightmare that you have to work and survive in a system that is built basically on hell, right? So be good to yourselves. Also, I got some intuitive messages. I was meditating this morning. When am I not meditating? Okay, I live to meditate basically. I think a lot, especially now with this whole Prince Alamallehu thing. Sometimes I feel kind of embarrassed, like when I start talking about the Prince Alamallehu thing, and then when it leads to the Tut thing and then the Cleopatra, because it's like, okay, it sounds so like almost ridiculous. It seems ridiculous. Like, okay, Tut, right? Okay, and then there's Cleopatra involved. It's like, who else is involved, Maria? Like, it sounds so. It does sound like completely like I've gone off the deep end, but it's true. Okay, at least in my intuitive mind, and I believe it. Like, I would not be so confident to make these videos if I really didn't believe it. Anyway. So the first intuitive message that I got, and I think I had this one too before, it's that people knew back in the 70s and 80s that I was the chosen one. Like they knew that I was this clone of somebody, and I do believe that my creation was made from, on my father's side. I believe that he was really excited to bring me back and spend time with me regardless of the situation, even though I was his daughter and not maybe his wife or whatever. And I do appreciate that, even though I would say life has been very, very rough, okay? And I would say that my surroundings made it very difficult for me. There were times where it was good. I think that things got really, I mean, don't get me wrong, kids were bullying me in school, like since I walked in the door. But I still had relationships, and I would have phone calls from people and stuff like that. They probably were spies, okay, in some way, possibly. But I would say things started getting crazy, like when I was in high school, somewhere around there. It just got really bad. I do believe that they turned against my father, and then they started just like literally making him go out of his mind. Um, the town became very hateful towards me, and I do believe that most of the issues, like I said, that I dealt with was racist issues. And I do believe that the whole religious issue was used to hide that or try to make it seem like it was a righteous thing or whatever. But yeah, I knew that. That was one intuitive message. Also, I've been like really concentrating on my adoptive mother, Mary Gordon. Apparently, my mother's is in the afterlife and she's happy, and I'm glad she's happy. I understand, what she went through. I understand her limitations as a human being, of what she could tolerate. She's only human. I also, and I also understand the fact that the majority of people who are not like me, who have not like been interested in things like mind control and read about things like Joseph Mengele and stuff like that, they are very open to mind control. The majority of people are. This is the reason why a person like me can be blacklisted. This is the reason why people like me can be the subject of gossip and a community harassment, because the majority of people are open to mind control because they don't ask questions, and also because they are desperately seeking approval from their peers who would in fact turn around and do the same goddamn thing to them. So, this is my way of thinking. So that's why I don't participate in stuff like that. I understand what humans are. Okay? They're very destructive. Their ignorance is destructive. Okay. But anyway, I'm glad that my mom is happy. And apparently she is with her mother, and she does kind of hover from time to time. And I'm glad my mother's happy and she got peace. Also, because I found there's always these people on the sidelines, okay? Not everybody is happy with the fact that I found all this out and then I cracked the code, okay? There's always going to be some people who have an issue with it. I can't change it. This is hell, right? You can be right all you want to, okay? You can have the facts, you can have it all down, all right? But there's still going to be some people, because deep down inside, there's some people who are angry that this black girl figured it out. Okay, and this is not for me to create a racial issue. I think everybody knows my feelings on race. Okay, I have never, even though I have every single right to, no one could tell me that I don't have any right to hate white people. I have every right to hate white people. Every single right to hate white people, but I don't. Okay, but there are some white people who are angry about this. Now, mind you, um, but this whole issue has, for me, had nothing to do so much with race. I mean, obviously, I'm in this situation because of it, okay? But my main quest, I think, was to figure out, like, who was behind it, and then also this whole going down the whole rabbit hole of who I am, like the Prince Alamai, who my past lives and everything like that. Obviously, I have received a lot of mistreatment from white people, and I have since I can remember. And I know, I think I did, yeah, the video on Billy the Black Cowboy was basically me bringing up the fact that, when you are a person of color, you have to deal with a lot of ignorance. Okay, like that person who was talking about Billy the Black Cowboy and how he couldn't be a cowboy. Dude, you're more retarded than that dude, is basically what I'm trying to say. You don't even know history. You know what I mean? And you have some right to sit here and poke at somebody thinking that you're superior. A lot of people have walked around with this false sense of superiority when they don't deserve it. There are definitely some white people who are, to me, superior. Like, I always thought of Mick Jagger as superior because he's like this intelligent person who could come up with great works of art, his music, right? And he seems endless with that ability, right? That's what makes him great. Okay, it's not his whiteness, it's his abilities is what makes him great. And some people, they want a free ride and they want to grasp at straws so they can save their self-esteem. I'm not responsible for those individuals. Okay, all I wanted to do was get on with my life. Okay, and just never wanted to be entangled into something like this. I never wanted to have any racial issues. Racial issues as a person of color are going to find you no matter what. Okay, and believe me, I dealt with it. And I think that this issue proves a lot, and I don't think I need to say any more on that situation. Anyway, I already brought up the Joseph Mengele thing. I do think that the majority of people, I get this understanding that the majority of people understand that this whole situation was nothing but corrupt. Okay, there were some people who were involved in it who, like, for example, people that I used to know on the lower level. When I'm talking about the lower level, I'm talking about schoolmates, co-workers. They were involved in it, and they probably knew that it was harassment, but they don't think they really dug in that deep into this situation. This situation relates to, and this is what I found out in the last few months. This situation really is related to what my father went through. Okay, like when I was making the last 1,300 videos, I honestly thought, I didn't even think that it had anything to do with my father at all. At all. You know what I mean? And I've heard, like, on, you know, I've seen videos, like when I first realized I was a targeted individual, like in 2015. I would see a lot of targets talking about things that seemed out of my level of understanding. Like, I know they would talk about energy weapons and stuff like that. I was being targeted mostly in the workplace and in, like, the neighborhoods and in the stores that I was frequenting. So, and they would talk about bloodline targeting, and I understand, and I just kind of rolled my eyes sometimes at it because I really didn't pay a lot of attention to it. I do understand that some people desperately want to have, like, a sense of importance. So I kept thinking, well, maybe these people want to believe that they're important. So, and I honestly, I didn't take it that seriously. I thought they wanted to think that they were important and they were making this up. They probably just don't realize it's just their family and their old high school friends or whatever. And I don't know why I never really thought that my bloodline could be targeted, but I do understand that this is exactly what it is. So I have to say, I wish I would have taken those videos a little bit more seriously and watched them more. Um, but this is what it was really basically about. And so, but that doesn't excuse the people on the lower end, because obviously they intuitively, deep down, had to know that this was wrong. There's really no excuse at that point. So you have to understand where I'm coming from, and I look at things from all situations. That's one of the reasons why I can forgive my mom. You know what I mean? I'm the kind of person, I have to be able to dissect an issue and take responsibility for certain things. Like in my situation, in my relationship with my mom, I don't feel as though I'm responsible for anything, unless, of course, certain things that I did when I was over the age of 18, or when I was at the age of knowing better. Okay, I take responsibility for my little fuck ups, right? But I was a kid when my parents took me in. Okay, and my mom just couldn't handle it. Okay, and I also understand that she is a limited person. She doesn't have the ability to think outside the box. She didn't question. She always believed that if you were a person of authority, you were always right. That's what my mom thought. Okay, and so she believed it. And I have to look at the whole situation before I deem her or judge her. You know what I mean? So I forgive my mom. Okay. Um, but some of the people, I'm not saying all of the people that I used to know, but there's certain people that I used to know that there's no excuse for what they did. They could try to make an excuse, but you can't. Okay. So I take things very seriously. Okay. What else was the other message? Oh yeah, my parents. I guess my parents must have had some sort of thought or belief, or maybe wanted me to be an entertainer, although this was never really um, expressed by them in any way. Because you would think that if my parents were like prepping me to be an entertainer, that they would have given me like the opportunity to participate in outside activities, such as like, I know I was in choir, like in certain grades I was in choir, but like you would think that they would give me formal singing lessons or formal acting lessons or something like that. I don't know. Maybe my parents heard me singing in my room when I was a kid, or maybe when I was a young kid, I would entertain that thought. Yeah, I think a lot of kids do, right? But I don't have an interest in being an entertainer. I mean, I do love writing content. I like content. I don't think I would ever want to take my skill or talent or whatever beyond like YouTube or Patreon. You know what I mean? I'm just not one of those people that, I don't have any desire to be like Beyonce, even though Beyonce's beautiful and she got shitloads of fans and she's whatever. But I can't see myself doing that. You know what I mean? It's just not me. It's not me, who I am. I'm a very, spiritual type person. And that's not to say that you couldn't be spiritual and be a star. It's just that, I guess, you know what, they should have, if that was their thing, if they wanted me to be an entertainer, they should have got to me earlier, before I had time to think about it. That's not what I want to do. But anyway, and the other message I got was to just relax and focus on content. I don't know what's going on with Patreon yet. I haven't checked my account in a while. I plan to a little bit later, but not today. Like I said, any sort of interaction or any sort of reminder that these people exist, I find it very disturbing to me. Very disturbing. And when you throw in the Joseph Mengele thing, it just kind of really, like, kind of screws my brain up a little bit. So it's something that I have to mentally prepare myself for, even to go online. Okay, this was a form of, like I said, it was the genocide word, okay? And it bothers me. Okay, it disturbs me, and I'm not comfortable with it at all. You know what I mean? And so it's been very mentally draining for me. And it does. It makes you look at people differently. You know what I mean? It makes me look at all people differently. So like when white people would say that, Maria's mad at white people, that's not even true. I'm mad at every single person that walks on the face of the planet who was dumb enough to believe this. You know what I mean? Or justify or find some sort of reason, other than hating me for exactly what this was really all about. Like, how could you not know that? You know what I mean? It was a racist attack, is what I dealt with. And then the religious thing, it was so wicked. You know what I mean? It's so wicked. So wicked. It's just sick. You know what I mean? So, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I appreciate those who have supported me and continue to support me. And I do appreciate, you know, you guys taking the time to watch my videos and following this story, because I know it's been going on for quite a long time, and boy, I can't tell you how weird it is. It's very difficult for me to like get into this transition that this is my reality. Like, my parents really weren't my parents, that this whole thing was like some weird setup. I've been monitored pretty much all my, that's a lot. Okay, it's a lot for a person to deal with. So yeah, I trip on that. So I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys all have a wonderful winter season. I was going to make a video. I will probably make a video maybe Sunday or whatever, talking about the holiday season. I know that this, Christmas is really, I would say, like the Yuletide season, how we celebrate it. It's more like more of a very European influence. And I want to talk about the origins of that, and how we decorate it. I mean, decorate, or, as Americans, okay? When I say that, like, everybody has their little way of doing it. We all have Christmas trees, we all have stockings, we all have those sort of things. But everybody has their little traditions that they throw in here and there. But anyway, I might put that together for on YouTube for Sunday's entertainment. For now, I'm just going to go back and listen to my music, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.